Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 5.7. This is the last lesson in this unit. We're going to do some review coming up and the test, and I think you guys are going to do a great job. But here's our objective. I will be able to graph ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. Same objective as last time, must be important. That's how the unit is ending, is graphing these things. So we're basically going to do the same thing. Maybe I'll do a better job teaching this time, maybe I won't. Let's find out. Okay, so we've got another coordinate plane on here. Let's see if we can remember what quadrant this would be. I can't hear you. It's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Quadrant 1 is positive y and positive x. Quadrant 2 is negative x, positive y. Quadrant 3 is negative and negative. And quadrant 4 is positive x, negative y. Let's do our first one on here. And it's important to notice on these coordinate planes that numbers can, these ones are counting by 1, but as you can see on the next page, they're going to be counting by 2s. Sometimes they count by halves as well. So that's important to take note of. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, so the first coordinate we're going to plot is for a negative 3, 4. So the x is always first. So let's find negative 3 on the x. There it is. And I'm going to go 4 positive and the y, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's where it is. I just have to mark that point with an A. Now I also want to talk about reflections again. I don't know if I did a good job explaining it last time. When you reflect across the y is going to stay the same. The x is going to change to be the opposite. When you reflect across the x is going to stay the same and the y will change. Let's reflect A twice here. Let's reflect it across the y. Well, it's still going to be 4 in the y, but now it's going to be, instead of negative 3 in the x, it's going to be positive 3. So here's where A would be reflected. It's just reflected across the y. Now if I reflect it across the x, I'm doing a lot of walking. Sorry about that. I'm going to reflect it across the x. The x is going to stay the same. The y is going to be different. So the y was 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Now the y is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 away negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is. There's my original A. There's it reflected across the y and reflected across the x. Okay? Your book's going to ask you to do some of these things, so I hope you got that down. That's the last example of reflections I'm going to do today. I'm going to plot some other points for us, though. Let's take a look at B, negative 1.5 and 2.5. Uh-oh, there's no half markers. Well, if it says half, just go halfway in between. So B is negative 1.5, negative on the x. 1, there's 2, so negative 1.5 will be right here. And it's positive 2.5 on the y. 1, 2.5, so it's going to be right there in the middle. And that's going to be my B. Okay? Now you can reflect it if you want to. We're not going to right now. And let's go with C, because C has some fourths in there, some quarters. All right, C is positive 4 3/4. So I go on my x, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got to kind of mentally break this up into quarters. That would be 4 1/4. That would be 4 1/2. 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 is about right there. Okay, I'm going to leave my mark there so I remember where that was. Now it's going to be negative 1 1/4 going down. So there's, in the y, there's negative 1. If I break this up into quarters again, it would be kind of 1/4, half, 3/4. So where these lines kind of meet right there, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be where my C is. And there's my C at that point. There you go. Notice how that's not right on the negative 1 line because of negative 1 and 1/4. All right, let's go to the next page. I do a few more examples before I set you off on your own here. All right, once again, here is my y and my x. Let's graph. Keep in mind here, look at this. Counting by 2s now. All right, I have 3.5 and negative 6. So 3 would be on my x right about there. So 3.5 has to be halfway across, or halfway between the 3 and 4. So I'm going to say it's right there. I'm going to leave a mark. And negative 6 would be negative 2, negative 4, negative 6 right on the line. And I'm going to draw a dot right there. there would be my A plot point. Let's try B, -2 and -7. Okay. Negatives, oops, I forgot to put my negatives in there. -2 on my X is right there. -7 would be -2, 4, 6, 8. Uh-oh. Should be right in between. And there is my B. Last but not least, I have my 4 and, my C, which is 4 on the X and 5.5 on the Y. So I go to 4 on my X, 2, 4, and then I have to go up to my 5, 2, 4, 6 is too far. 5 would be right there in the middle, but it's not just 5, it's 5.5. So it's going to be in between those 2 points. It'll be right there, and there's my C. So I plotted my A, B, and C. You can connect the dots if you feel so inclined to and make a triangle. That's up to you, but you don't have to do that for me. Okay, now you guys have a job to do. Hopefully you have some graph paper at home, but I'm guessing you don't, because I don't have any here. And that's okay. You guys just have to make your own graph. Try to make it as neat as possible. Take about 5-10 minutes on this quick assignment. Copy this graph down. It's not too hard. I think you could do it. And then you're going to plot these points. -2, -6 for A, 3, -5, and then -6, 0. Just try to keep it nice and neat so I could see your plot points on there. And remember, I'm not counting by ones on this coordinate plane. I'm counting by twos. So notice 0 is, I'm going to let you find out where 0 is. You have to plot these numbers counting by 2. So, for instance, if that says 3 for your X, there is no 3 on this line. I bet you could figure out where 3 would fall. Okay? Good luck, and I can't wait to see these plots tomorrow.